Hello and welcome to the Bearded Mystic Podcast, and I'm your host, Rahul N. Singh. Thank you for taking out the time today to either watch or listen to this podcast episode. If you're really interested in supporting the Bearded Mystic Podcast and you've found great benefit in listening or watching these episodes, then please do support this podcast on Patreon, where you can get ad-free and bonus episodes along with other benefits depending on the tier that you select. Your support means everything, and it really does help the podcast keep running efficiently and smoothly, and also widens the audience that this message can reach to. If you would like to know more about it, the details are in the show notes and video description below. On Saturdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, there is a free virtual meditation session along with discussion and Q&A. If you're interested in meditating with us as a community, then you can find out the details in the show notes and video description below. Please do like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're listening to this on your favorite podcast streaming app, then please do give this podcast a 5-star rating. It helps the podcast get up in the charts and allows the algorithm to bring this podcast to new listeners. And also do review the podcast if you can, and make sure you do follow or subscribe to keep getting future episodes. Today we will be continuing on with my thoughts on the Bhagavad Gita, and today we'll be starting a new chapter which will be looking at the Vishwarup of Sri Krishna. We're starting chapter 11. We're going to be going through verses 1 to 13. There's a lot to unpack in today's episode, so I'm going to go through it and just see how it flows in terms of time. But this is one of the most important chapters that people talk about because it shows the universal form and it tries to bring everything into context, that if you had to see God, what would that look like? And would you be able to take it in? And we'll see how Arjun feels about it, but it's a very interesting chapter. There's a lot to probably digest and dissect when we're going through these verses. So here we go. Verse 1. Arjun said, "Out of kindness and affection for me, you have just revealed the ultimate secret knowledge concerning your true nature as Adhyatmika, the Supreme Being and the source of all that is. Because of your words, my more or delusion has now been removed." This is a very interesting verse, and again, it sets up the scene of what's going to happen. So first of all, he appreciates, Arjun says, the secret knowledge that you gave about some aspects, some qualities that you showed me regarding your nature. I really appreciate it. He appreciates it's only a portion, and even that has, when he thinks about it, when he recollects it, it has removed aspects of his delusion. And what's that delusion? The delusion that there is separation. What Sri Krishna in that previous chapter in Vibhuti Yoga, what he emphasizes is that the source of everything is this Nirgun Brahman, this formless awareness, or the shared being. Either you see it as Sri Krishna, or you see it as Nirgun Brahman. It's really up to you how you want to take it. But ultimately, the source is the same. Yeah, the origin of everything is the same. So here we see that Arjun also understands that there is a special power that is driving his chariot in this war. So this is no ordinary person. But still, maybe Arjun may want to see more, and maybe he wants to know more. Now, he says, you've just revealed the secret knowledge concerning your nature. So what is Sri Krishna's real nature? A lot of people will see Sri Krishna as a name and form, or body and mind, and that's how they will interpret him. And that's how they will see him. They will see him as a very ordinary person. But Arjun has seen something incredible here, because he has seen the real roop of Sri Krishna, an aspect, just a few aspects, and even with that, he's amazed. Now he says, concerning your nature as Adhyatmika, the Supreme Being Nirgun Brahman, and the source of all that is. This Nirgun Brahman that has manifested into this whole existence of the many. So this one is the many. That's what that chapter discusses, and that is the ultimate truth. Remember, he says the secret knowledge. So we will go into what that secret knowledge is further, but I want us to understand that we are not to see anything other than this oneness, this formless oneness. Yeah, it's in existence. There's a very beautiful song that I know where they say, Tera Roop hai sansar. And what that means is your roop, your face, your image is this sansar, this existence, this world. And again, the moment you do that and you see everything as Nirgun Brahman or the formless or God, then you naturally have this respect for nature, for existence, for people, for every living being. Yeah, your whole way of being changes. In fact, your way of life becomes more spiritual. And the thing is, it's established in spirituality because there is nothing but God or nothing but Brahman. So you will not feel that you are away. Yeah, you will see that it's everywhere. Then Arjun obviously says, because of your words, right now just the words have been shown, yeah, or heard. Nothing visual has happened yet. Yeah, nothing visual, just your words have explained. And he says, even your words have removed my delusion somewhat. Now the second verse, O Kamal Patra Akshi, O lotus-eyed one, whose eyes are as beautiful as the petals of a blooming lotus, very beautiful. I have heard from you in detail about how the countless beings are manifested within matter and then dissolved again and again. I have also learned that you are the greatest Atma who pervades all and can never be destroyed. We're going to break this verse up a little. The first part, O Kamal Patra Akshi, O lotus-eyed one whose eyes are as beautiful as the petals of a blooming lotus. I have heard from you in detail about how the countless beings are manifested within matter and then dissolved again and again. First of all, whenever we see our Guru, whenever we see someone who has enlightened us, who wants to take us to the next step of the journey, we refer to them as O lotus-eyed one. So it's just showing the beauty that Arjun is seeing in this name and form of Sri Krishna. Yeah? There's nothing added here. Just this beautiful form of Sri Krishna. And he's saying, your eyes are as beautiful as the petals of a blooming lotus. So it's just showing how beautiful his eyes are. And you know, it's really true. When you look at the eyes of the master, you lose all sense of darkness. You know, for example, there's a very famous song, Sufi song, called Chap Tilak. And in Chap Tilak, the whole point of the song is that when I bowed to you and when I looked at you, when our eyes met, you took everything away, took everything of me away. So there's only you. And you know, it's true, when you see the beauty of the Guru's eyes, that's exactly how you experience life and you experience things. You see beauty everywhere. And so this whole thing of the petals of a blooming lotus, if you've ever seen a blooming lotus, it's really, really amazing to witness. And you feel that there's no flower that blooms as brightly as a lotus flower. And remember, that lotus flower is born in the mud. So look at the significance here that Arjun he's talking about. He's saying that you're a blooming lotus. Yeah, even though you have this name and form, which is just made of matter, but you have risen above this matter too. And then he says, I have heard from you in detail about how the countless beings are manifested within matter and then dissolved again and again. So he understands the cycle of time here, that ultimately whatever manifests within matter has to get dissolved again. Remember, he doesn't really say destroyed or dies. I guess, you know, he may use those words in the future, but the whole point is to say that things manifest and dissolve again and again. They go in that pendulum. So it's not a big deal, so to speak. Yeah. If something manifests, it dissolves away, but it's all coming from that same one. So if you see it as something individual and separate, it brings suffering. If you see it as unity, as the one that's representing itself or manifesting itself in the many, you'll be fine. And that's how a true seeker of spirituality should see this whole existence and each and every living being. The second part of the verse, I have also learned that you are the greatest Atma who pervades all and can never be destroyed. This is the ultimate understanding that is necessary, that this formless awareness is the greatest reality that we need to know. The only reality, the supreme reality. So he says, you are the greatest Atma. In fact, everything is the greatest Atma. But here Arjuna is seeing Shri Krishna, so he says, Shri Krishna, you are the greatest Atma. You are that supreme being. There is nothing other than this supreme being who pervades all. You're in everything. You envelop everything. And your true nature can never be destroyed. That consciousness cannot be destroyed. Anything made through matter can be destroyed, but you, the Atma, that which is Sat, that which is a witness consciousness, which is changeless, can never be destroyed. There's not even a single atom that it does not pervade. It pervades every corner of existence and beyond. So the subtle point to understand is that this existence is his Maya. It's Brahman's Maya, it's Shri Krishna's Maya, or your Guru's Maya. Yeah. Through the yogic power, this Maya has manifested. Once we become yogis, we unite with the formless awareness, and this Maya dissolves away as a separate existence. And what we see it as this Brahman's manifestation or being, or the shared being, that we often refer to. So that's another way of looking at it. It's very subtle points, but really, really interesting. Then verse 3, O Param Ishvara, greatest among all controllers, since you have described your true nature as the Atmana, the ultimate Atma, and you are also Purusha Uttam, the greatest person who is beyond the reach of matter, I wish to see your Eshvara Roop, magnificent universal form, by which you pervade and support everything within this universe. Before we break up this verse a little, you got to be careful about what you ask for. And that's the thing about spirituality. When you go to your guru, when you go to a teacher, when you go to your mentor, be careful what you ask for. And all I can say is my secret that I can give to you is only ask for bhakti, only ask for devotion and gyan. That don't ask for any worldly things, don't ask for anything else. So one should never prematurely ask for something. But Arjuna makes this request, right? So he says in the first part, O Param Ishvara, the greatest among all controllers. So Ishvara, as we know, is the personal God, the God with attributes, the personal God that looks after everything, that sustains everything, that creates everything, that destroys everything. So it's controlling all of existence. So he says, O Param Ishvara. He says, you are that ultimate controller of everything. Ishvaras are working under you, basically, is what Arjuna is saying. And he says, since you have described your nature as the Atmana, so the ultimate Atma. So Shri Krishna earlier described what he is, who he is, and went through those qualities, if you remember. So he described them. So he's saying, you've obviously told me that you're the ultimate Atma, and Arjuna is accepting this. He's not denying this. He's saying, yes, you are. Then he says, and you are also Purusha Uttam, the greatest person who is beyond the reach of matter. This is a very important sentence. He says, you are also Purusha Uttam. So the Uttam Purusha. Remember, the Purusha is a witness consciousness. So it's the greatest person, or Purush can also mean person. So he's saying you are the greatest person. So even though you're manifested in this world, even though you've manifested as existence, as this body, you're still beyond matter. You're still beyond existence. Even though people will think that you are Shri Krishna, the person who was in Dwapar Yuga, they will say all these things, but ultimately, you are that witness consciousness, the greatest one. This is what we need to understand. So you are the manifested form that understands that it is the witness consciousness. So that's what Sri Krishna is saying. That's why he's the greatest person. That's why he's the greatest being. And remember, this is everyone's potential, but we deny this because we love duality. Sri Krishna understands reality, therefore doesn't deny non-duality. In fact, becomes non-duality. The other thing to note here is that since Arjun says that he's beyond the reach of matter, again, what is being hinted here is that Arjun is prepared to see Sri Krishna as something formless and then magnificent as a formless. So that's what is being done here. Then Arjun says, I wish to see your Aishvara Roop, magnificent universal form, by which you pervade and support everything within this universe. So now he is saying, okay, you told me, now I want to see it. Remember what I said? You got to be careful about what you ask for. So now he is saying, I want to see this Virat Roop, this magnificent universal form that you have. I want to see the whole of this shared being. Yeah, everything in the shared being. Right now, our senses only see a particular silo. It doesn't go beyond the silos that it's meant to see. And whatever the senses can project, that's all we perceive. Arjun is asking that I want to see this magnificent universal form by which you pervade and support everything within this universe. So he's saying, I want to see everything that you pervade and how you support everything within this universe. One thing I will say, this is why I really love Arjun, because he asks for this. How many of us, if we asked to see God, would be willing to go there? If it meant that your life from that day forward would change, that you may end up living a totally different life. And you do. Life is never the same. The day that my Guru gave me Brahm Gyan, my life changed. My life has never been the same. I function differently. I tried my best to live according to the principles, but most of all, I know my life is not the same. What my life could have been, I try not to think about it because it scares me. So there's two sides, right? So one is your life changes, and the other side is you don't even want to contemplate what your life could have been if you didn't have this knowledge. This is very important to know. Then verse 4, O Prabhu, my beloved master, if you think I am eligible to see this, O Yoga Ishvara, please show me how your imperishable self pervades the entire universe. First of all, he says, O Prabhu, my beloved master. Again, this shows he is asking as a disciple. And in the tradition of Vedanta, we accept that the Guru can do anything for us. Whatever we request, the Guru will do for us. As long as we have a clear heart, a pure heart, and we know that Arjun has a pure heart. He is saying, O Prabhu, my beloved master. And look at the sentence. He says, if you think I'm eligible to see this. Some of us will ask us if we should demand our right. We need to see it. If you think I'm eligible to see this. O Yoga Ishvara, the greatest of yogis. Again, one showing his humility, and then saying that you are the greatest amongst yogis. You are the highest of yogis. So then he requests, please show me how your imperishable self pervades this entire universe. He wants to see how this Nirgun Brahman manifests as the entire universe. A big ask, but again, it's his humility in the very beginning of this verse that really says everything. And we should have that same humility right now, as we can also have the same experience as we're reading this, as we're listening to this, as we're watching this. And that's why it's really important that we understand the state of mind that Arjun is in to ask this question. And are we willing to really see this magnificent form ourselves? Verse 5. Sri Bhagavan then said, O Arjun, just see my many forms, hundreds and thousands of divine images, and each of various colors and shapes. Sri Krishna starts, maybe with a little bit of a hint. He says, okay, just see my many forms. I'm this whole existence that you see. Yeah, look at the stars, the moon, the planets, the living beings on this planet, the trees, nature, everything, right? Hundreds and thousands of divine images. So the Devis and Devtas. Yeah, just see those. And I have various colors and shapes. So it's very beautiful. You know, he's trying to tell Arjun, look, this is what you can see. Then in verse 6 he says, now you may see the Adityas, the Vasus, the Rudras, the Ashvins, the Maruts, and other divine beings who are also there. O Arjun, behold the many marvels never seen before. First of all, these 33 varieties of Vedic gods are the principal ones, and that's what Sri Krishna is talking about. The 49 Maruts, which are the wind gods, are regarded as separate from the 33 varieties of Vedic gods. So I just want us to note that down, because they were transformed from demons to gods in the Vedic folklore. Sri Krishna has separated them from the other gods. So that's something I want to emphasize. Then Sri Krishna tells Arjun to behold many marvels which has never been seen before. Okay. This is... he's saying, look, I'm going to show you all the gods. I'm going to show you all the Rudras. I'm going to show you all of these divine images, divine forms, divine beings. And what he's saying is that nobody else has seen this before. You're the first person. This is why Arjun is no normal person. This is the verse that we need to note. Behold the many marvels never seen before. This is the first time this is being revealed. Then verse 7. O Arjun, just see how everything in the entire Jagat, both the moving and unmoving, is standing together within my universal body as one grand being. Anything you wish to see is present here. So let's look at the verse as a whole. O Arjun, just see how everything in the entire Jagat, so this whole world, this whole universe, both the moving aspects and the unmoving. Remember, space will appear to be unmoving. Moving will be everything. Now you're seeing everything. Yeah, you're seeing all types of rays and waves, and you'll be seeing the divine forms, heaven, hells, everything. You're seeing everything. And he says it's standing together within my universal body. So all of this is contained within my universal body. Within the shared being, all of this is contained. Yeah. Very interesting. And it's as one grand being. Don't think it's multiple forms. It's all one. It's all me. Anything you wish to see is present here. This is, think about anything you want. Whatever's in your imagination, it will be there. Because anything that has been imagined is already in this universe. That's what Sri Krishna is saying. Verse 8. But you cannot see this form with your physical eyes. So I am giving you divine eyes. Behold, as I now reveal my universal and splendid qualities through my Yoga Aishvarya, the unlimited yogic powers. We're going to break this verse up. Very, very important to note, especially the first line. But you cannot see this form with your physical eyes. So I am giving you divine eyes. Remember, he says anything you wish to see is present here. So that's imagination, right? Now he is saying, but you cannot see this form with your physical eyes, with this sensory experience of the eyes. So I'm giving you divine eyes. I'm giving you this Gyan Chakshu. This true form cannot be seen with the physical eyes. So when people say, I see God, you have to understand what they're really saying. Are they talking about this existence? Or are they talking about some supernatural being? If they're talking about some supernatural being, stay away from them, run away. Run. If they're seeing it as existence, they're talking the Gita. They're being the Gita. So I'm giving you divine eyes. This happens when we have Brahmgyan. Brahmgyan gives us those eyes that are necessary to see the truth. That's the most important thing. So he says, behold, as I now reveal my universal and splendid qualities through my Yoga Aishvarya. I'm now going to show you my universal form. I'm going to reveal it to you. I'm going to show it to you. And all these splendid qualities through my yogic powers. I'm going to show you through my yogic powers. I have all this unlimited yogic power. You tell me what you want to see. I will show you now. Because now I'm giving you divine vision. Now I'm giving you those divine eyes. Now you cannot escape anything. Everything will be seen. Again, we should be careful what we ask for, because if we ask with a humble heart, with love, with purity, we will get what we are meant to see. And Sri Krishna here is saying unlimited yogic powers. So there's no end to his powers. It can never be exhausted. So now he's saying, behold, get ready to see it. Then in verse 9, then Sanjay says to Dhritarashtra that, O king, after speaking in this way, Sri Krishna, the Mahayoga Ishvara Hari, the greatest master of yoga, who removes all inauspicious things from one's heart, revealed to Arjun his Param Roop Aishvara, supreme and attractive universal form. First of all, you look at the whole verse together. Sanjay says to the blind king, O king, after speaking in this way, and look how he refers to Sri Krishna, the Mahayoga Ishvara Hari, the greatest master of yoga, who removes all inauspicious things from one's heart. You could say that he is kind of mocking Dhritarashtra. He's mocking the king. He's saying he's the greatest master of yoga. This is the person who's fighting against your son. This is the person, the greatest master of yoga. And he removes all inauspicious things from one's heart. So whatever doubts, delusions, fears that Arjun has, they're going to be removed. This is what Sanjay is saying. Then he says, reveal to Arjun his Param Roop Aishvara, the supreme and attractive universal form. He now reveals it. He doesn't just say it, he now shows it. This supreme and attractive universal form. So right now he is saying it's so attractive, it's so appealing, it's so captivating. Because yes, if you see God, it will be captivating, it will be beautiful. As long as you're ready for it, it's going to be. If you're not ready, then you may have some preconceived notion and that will end up becoming what you see. And Sri Krishna, before he allows Arjun to imagine anything, he says, I'm going to give you divine vision. I'm going to give you these eyes that will now be able to see this divine sight. So he just gives it to him. And that's what happens. The Guru gives that vision to us. Then we see this Param Roop, the supreme form. And he says, Aishvara, supreme beauty. So beautiful. Verse 10. Sanjay continued to speak. Suddenly Arjun saw countless mouths and eyes, unlimited marvelous visions extending everywhere. He saw divine ornaments of immeasurable splendor and endless mystic weapons appraised everywhere. So first of all, let's think about this. He says, Arjun saw countless mouths and eyes. So remember, every living being has eyes and mouths. So he's saying he sees countless of them, infinite number of them in this whole universe. So imagine all the universes, living beings that have eyes and mouths, all of that is being seen by Arjun. I want you to think of the vast scale of this. You know, when we see something in IMAX, this is bigger than IMAX. This is the type of vision that is being seen by Arjun. So he says, he sees countless mouths and eyes. So Sanjay is describing this. So Sanjay is also seeing this. This is why I said it's available to everyone. Me and you right now, it's available, this vision is. And then he says, unlimited marvelous visions extending everywhere. What are these marvelous visions? Of the Devis, of the Devtas, the divine constellations, the divine beings. What else would be marvelous? Whatever we think is marvelous, we're seeing. Such beauty. Everywhere. Extending everywhere, he says. So it's not just in one part, everywhere. In all corners. At all sides. Then he says, Arjun saw divine ornaments of immeasurable splendor. Such beautiful ornaments. Made of such beautiful gold and jewelry. And then he says, and endless mystic weapons appraised everywhere. This line, this description is everything. This shows what is available to Sri Krishna. Endless. The battle on earth will end between the Kauravas and the Pandavas. It's going to end. Their weapons will be exhausted, but these endless mystic weapons, which are everywhere, that means at the moment of the war, there'll be any time wherever Sri Krishna is, he can raise one of these mystical weapons. Very beautiful. And it's worth to note that he's setting the narrative of what's going to happen. Then verse 11, Sanjay continued, decorated with divine garments, garlanded with celestial flowers, fragrant with intoxicating perfumes, and exhibiting magical marvels of every description. Dev, Ananta, Vishvata, Mukha, the supreme Deva, whose uncountable faces look in every direction, appeared before Arjun. Let's go into this. This is amazing stuff. Sanjay continued, decorated with divine garments, so the most beautiful garments, beyond what the royal family can wear of any Maharaja. Decorated with divine garments. You see them, they hold such divinity. Then garlanded with celestial flowers. Then, everything is garlanded with celestial flowers. So imagine if there's celestial flowers, how beautiful they must be. Then he says, fragrant with intoxicating perfumes. Just whenever you smell something you really like, you love being around that, right? Same thing here. He's saying this fragrance of existence, this fragrance of Sri Krishna, it's intoxicating. It takes you all in. Yeah, that's what it does. And exhibiting magical marvels of every description. You describe it, whatever. It's just marvelous, it's magical. Beyond anything that we've seen. Just everywhere it's exhibiting it as an exhibition, just showing off. That's what it's doing. Then he says, Dev Anant Vishvata Mukha. So Dev, the supreme Deva, there's all these Devas, but he's more supreme. This shared being, this Nirgum Brahman, Saguna Brahman, this Sri Krishna, your Guru. I'm happy and I'm fine with saying it's your Guru. I'm not going to even lessen your Guru that you have today. Because remember, there is never a time when Sri Krishna is not present. And Sri Krishna meaning any form of the Guru, whether Shivji, Brahma, anyone. The Supreme Deva. Anant. Endless. Uncountable. Infinite. Vishvatamukh. Faces in every direction. Vast. Wherever Arjun looks, there is just this Supreme Deva everywhere. So I want us to imagine this. That Supreme Deva is everywhere around us. And remember, think of the scale too. It's really amazing. You know, there's a certain, when we're looking at perfumes, fragrances, if you've ever smelled sandalwood, it's so amazing. I love the smell. Personally, I love the smell of sandalwood. I think it's just so magnificent. And they say that whoever touches that fragrance of sandalwood, it goes on to them. Even if you pass through the trees of sandalwood, the sandalwood trees, your clothes and your whole being will smell of that fragrant sandalwood. And that's what is happening here. You'll be filled with that divine perfume. What is that divine perfume? That divine energy. Then verse 12, Sanjay said, Divi Surya Sahasrasya. This is an important verse. If 1,000 suns rose up in the sky all at once, their brilliance would not equal the effulgence of the form that Arjun now saw. Verse 12, chapter 11, verse 12. Remember this verse. There's a Christopher Nolan movie coming out about Oppenheimer. And Oppenheimer loved this verse. He quoted this verse when he saw the atomic bomb. Just think about what Arjun is now seeing. Now let's imagine. We can't even look with our eyes right now at the sun directly. Right? It's so powerful. Our eyes will become damaged if we just kept staring at the sun for so long. So he says, if 1,000 suns, so imagine the light emanating from this now. If 1,000 suns rose up in the sky all at once, imagine how bright that light is that Arjun is now witnessing. And he says, their brilliance would not equal the effulgence of the form that Arjun now saw. So don't just get stuck with thousands. I would say infinite. Imagine if infinite suns rose up in the sky all at once. Even that would not equal the effulgence of the form that Arjun saw, that pure being, that pure Sri Krishna, that true form of his, the true form of our Guru, the true form of Brahmgyan, the formless awareness. It will not equal the light emanating from that one. So even if 1,000 suns, if infinite number of suns rose up all at once, it will not be the same. Right now, see, if you've been given this Brahmgyan, if you've been understanding the wisdom that Sri Krishna has talked about, or if you've been blessed by your Guru, you would be able to witness this right now. Right now, you'll be able to witness it. You'll be able to feel it. That if these infinite suns rose up in front of you, it still is not as bright as the light of the Guru, as the light of the formless awareness. This is what is being said. And you can see it now. Right now you can see it. With that divine vision. Everyone has been given that divine vision. Now it's up to you to utilize it. Sri Krishna has given us permission to see it. And Sanjay continued, and this is the final verse of today's episode. Sanjay continued, there Arjun saw the entire Jagat as the grand cosmic body of Sri Krishna, who is Dev Devasya, the ultimate Deva among them all. Within that cosmic form, divided into the many species and classes of infinite entities, all individual beings live their lives. This is phenomenal. But we're going to break this verse up. There's a lot to unpack here. So Sanjay continued, there Arjun saw the entire Jagat as the grand cosmic body of Sri Krishna. This entire universe is just the cosmic body of Sri Krishna, who is Dev Devasya, the ultimate Deva among them all. So all the Devas that are there, they're all within this universe, within this grand cosmic body of Sri Krishna. No Deva can match up to Sri Krishna. No Deva can match up to our Guru or Nirgun Brahman. All of this existence, all of these divine forms, the Ishtevta that we may have, so all the divine forms, basically he sees all of that in the body of his Ishtevta. We can see it in the body of our Ishtevta. That's what Arjun is seeing. He saw the entire Jagat, the entire universe, as the grand cosmic body of Sri Krishna. It's not separated. It's one and the same. And he is the ultimate Deva among them all. So everything. Whose is its Deva? Sri Krishna. Or our Guru, or Nirgun Brahman. Then he says, and what I want to say is, this experience that he's talking about, it can be had with any genuine Guru. Anyone. It's just about having that desire, that willingness to see it. Many people go to the genuine Gurus, right? People go, but they don't get what they need to get. They ask for silly little things. And maybe that's their nature, right? But this is the most important thing. Then he says in the next part, within that cosmic form, divided into the many species and classes of living entities, all individual beings live their lives. So in that cosmic form, they are divided into the many species and classes of living entities. So the birds, sea creatures, human beings, the gods, the planets, the galaxies, whatever, you name it, everything. They're divided into many species and classes of living entities. So imagine how much there is. Infinite numbers. All individual beings live their lives. So within this cosmic being, everything is living harmoniously, in oneness, because it's all this one. They are living their lives. Nothing is stopping them from living. They are all within that shared being, and that shared being is within all. So that cosmic form, just imagine, is divided into many species and classes of living entities. So just imagine the vastness of it. And all individual beings live their lives. Even though it's all this one that's been divided, and despite that, these divided beings, individual beings, think they're living their own life. Different existences within this one existence. Universes within this one universe. That is a way to interpret this verse. And Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts after listening to this episode, after watching this episode. What are your thoughts? Did you see what I saw when I was going through this? As I'm seeing now, actually, not that it disappears. And I wonder what we're going to go and see in the next episode. So I'm really looking forward to discussing this with you in the next episode. Thank you very much for listening. If you liked what you heard and liked what you watched, please do share this podcast with your friends and family who may enjoy this content. Do follow me on social media to keep getting updates. Join the Bearded Mystic Podcast WhatsApp community group to continue the podcast discussion. Details are in the show notes and video description below. If you would like to support the Bearded Mystic Podcast, as we discussed earlier, do check out the podcast Patreon page. Your support means everything, and it helps this podcast keep running. Details are in the show notes and video description below. Please do rate this podcast 5 stars and do give a review either on your favorite podcast streaming app or on our website. Details are in the show notes and video description below. Please do like and comment on this video and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Do follow or subscribe to this podcast on your favorite podcast streaming app. Thank you very much for listening to this episode. Let's end with the Shanti mantra and the Soham mantra. Soham, Soham, I am that, I am that. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Peace, Peace, Peace. Namaste.